We are pleased to have Anya Light with us this Sunday. She is a Reiki and meditation teacher, inspirational writer, intuitive life coach, yogi, and poet. Her goal is always to support all on their healing journey. She has been a part of Unity for many years and is an inspiration to us all. We are so blessed to have such a healing presence here today and within a reasonable distance to receive encouragement from. It's light.
Let's begin by going inward. So closing the eyes, taking a breath, and then stating softly to ourselves, whatever message I need to receive today, I open my heart to listen and receive that message. Thank you. And if you'd like for this talk, you can keep your eyes closed, or you can look around at your brothers and sisters, or look at me, whatever feels good. I'm trying to emotionally recover from that song because I haven't heard that song in years, and it always made me cry in the past, and it apparently still makes me cry. But the message of that song is so important to remember every single day, that everything is holy. Every single thing, person, place, idea, thought that we can possibly imagine is holy. And the fact that we can gather in community today to all understand that is really super magical. And I just want us to take a moment to let that gratitude fill our hearts because, there's still many places in this world, locally, nationally, globally, where that understanding hasn't sunk in yet. And so the fact that we get together and have that knowing within our heart, whether or not we remember it all the time, we're all like in that journey of remembering everything is holy now, but we all are on that track, right, together. So amazing that we get to support each other knowing that. So I'm super grateful in this moment. My talks at Unity, I was reflecting back, I seem to have a theme that I usually talk about, which is something along the lines of surrender or releasing or letting go or faith or trusting, things like that. I seem to be drawn to those kinds of topics. And today is a departure from the norm. I'm sure it'll relate back to that somehow. But thinking about the month, the power of the month of divine order, and the book that everyone is tuning into right now, The Power of Now, and trying to merge those two topics together, I instantly, when Natalie asked me to talk, I instantly thought of the topic of setting intentions. So for many of us, we're probably very familiar with doing that, the act of setting intentions. It's kind of become mainstream at this point. It's like, set your intention. You go to a yoga class and the teacher's like, close your eyes and set your intention. Or before we start like the new year, we set new intentions for the new year. So at this point, the idea of setting intentions, I don't think is probably brand new to people here. But I think that there's a way that we can talk about setting intentions that perhaps goes a little bit deeper, and I'm hoping Spirit will say those words through me. So how do we set intentions in the most powerful and magnificent way? Well, we begin with the power of now. We set our intentions in this present moment. There's no other time that we can set intentions except for in the moment that we set them. And that seems like maybe an obvious thing to say, but I think that some of us, perhaps, especially when we get start going deep into understanding, like Eckhart Tolle shares in his book, The Power of Now, and he addresses this in the book. I've read that book I've kind of lost track at this point, at least 5 times, maybe 10, I don't know. But he does address it in his book of sometimes we can start to demonize the future or the past because we're so like, I'm going to be in the now. I'm going to be in the now all the time. It's just about the now, which is it's great to bring our center of gravity back into the now for sure, but we can also utilize the future and the past in our healing and awakening journey as well. And so we can center ourselves in the now, take a breath, be present with our body, our emotions, whatever's happening in our life right now. We can be like, I'm here, and I want to set clear and powerful intention for the future. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we might even feel weird about planning sometimes. Like we're like, oh, I should just be in the now. I shouldn't think too much about the future, right? I've definitely fallen into that a number of times in my journey. Kind of like swinging in the opposite direction of like, I'm just going to be fully spontaneous and I'm just going to float around and I'm just going to appear in places where I'm supposed to, and kind of taking it to the extreme of being in the now, but not thinking enough about what I want my life to become. So conversely, some people on the spiritual path spend way too much time thinking about the future and spending way too much time planning and trying to get there and all that. So it's like finding a delicate balance, you know? Being in the present moment, enjoying things as they are, accepting this is how it is now, being light and carefree in the present moment, great. And sometimes in life, we need to set clear intention for some kind of change or transformation. Because if we don't set our sails in a particular direction, we might just end up blowing around in the wind kind of aimlessly. So a good friend of mine always used to say that. He used to say, Anya, just set your sails in a direction and just go that way. And if it takes you 10 years or 10 days, it doesn't matter. Just go in that direction and eventually you'll get there. I thought that was great advice. So how do we change? How do we transform? How do we heal? We set intentions. In the now. We look ahead to the future and we say, what is the most powerful vision for what my life in this lifetime could be? What is, and this is where it can get hard because sometimes we don't even dare to dream the biggest dream. And I speak from personal experience. There's been many times in my life, based upon the traumas of my past, that I couldn't even conceive of the biggest vision of my life. Other people would say, wow, you're going to do this, and I can't wait to see you do that. I'd be like, what are you even talking about? Like, I'm not going to do those things. They could vision it for me. They could see my potential, but I couldn't yet. So part of this setting intentions in the now is being like, asking ourselves, am I dreaming the biggest dream? Yeah. And it doesn't mean like a dream of like fame or being a billionaire or something like super dramatic. It just means, what is my soul ready to evolve into in this incarnation? So everyone's going to have a different goal, purpose, mission, multiple missions and purposes for all of us, actually. We don't just have one purpose or one mission. It's a whole cornucopia of things. But the question to ask ourselves in the present moment, and you can even ask yourself right now, am I dreaming the biggest dreams? If the answer is no, that's okay. Let's just acknowledge that. And then ask ourselves, what internal work needs to be done so that I can dream that dream? So setting our intentions in the now involves being really honest with ourselves about our shortcomings and about our blocks. And I often talk about stuff in like the sort of yogic terminology of like karma. So we each come into this life with our own unique karma, our own unique baggage, if you will. And, give me a little shout out to my friend Carol, the past life reader out there. We come in with some difficulties from other lifetimes, and it's our job to figure out what that is, what those issues are, and work through them. So, for me, I started to, a number of years ago, come into an understanding of some addictions to certain substances that I had in other lifetimes that I've carried into this lifetime, which actually helped me work with alcoholics. Alcohol is not my personal karma, but people coming to me for healing sessions and looking into their past life journey and being like, oh, this isn't new. This is a thing you've struggled with. So sometimes our addictions are so powerful and strong, and we say to ourselves, why is it so strong? Well, it's been a long time that you've dealt with this. So setting our intentions in the now involves just starting to broaden our scope. It's not just this lifetime that we're carrying particular things. We've been carrying it for a long time. And that can be hard for some of us who are maybe on the fence about, is this whole past lifetime thing real? It is. It's hard for the logical mind to understand, especially because we've been raised in this society that only validates this lifetime, and anything else is wacky boo-boo or whatever. So we have some conditioning to work through. Not to mention, in many other religions, it's condemned, the idea of other lifetimes. So we have some stuff to move through, but it's so liberating when, for example, we look at, in the Gnostic Gospels, we look at some of the things that Jesus and some of the disciples had said, and they're talking, now my mind is kind of drawing a blank on a specific quote, but I am remembering Jesus talking about oneness, and he's saying things like, in this lifetime, blah, 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 implying that there's other ones too, right? So yes, getting clear on what are my specific karmic challenges? And everybody has them. Nobody is exempt from those. We all have them. It's just different variations of challenges. So it's releasing also a sense of shame as we uncover those unique challenges to us, to not beat ourselves up for it, to be like, okay, this is just my stuff that I have to deal with. And it doesn't make me bad or better than someone else or anything like that. It's just my own particular stuff, and we all have to deal with it. So also a powerful way to set intentions in the now is to bring a sense of joy and happiness and gratitude and heightened emotions into our clearly setting those intentions, setting our sails. If we just use the mind to create these intentions, if we just keep it kind of like a logical, neutral thing, like I shall do this, but we don't have a heightened sense of emotion with it, if there's no big heart feeling behind it, it's very hard for those things to manifest. I don't know if some of you are familiar with the brilliant, life-altering work of Joe Dispenza. Yeah, I mean, his whole mission in life is to bring awareness to the fact that if we can combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, that's how creation manifests. You can't have one without the other. To have manifestation, you have to have both. And he's been teaching me so much about that lately. So when we set intentions in the now, we get clear on what we want for our life, what direction we're going. In that moment, taking a moment to cultivate a good heart feeling. So that could be simply just thinking of things we're grateful for in that moment, just to generate that high heart emotion. So just thinking like, wow, my life is so beautiful, listing all the things we're grateful for. That could be a strategy. We can also just do breath work. We can breathe into the heart. That will absolutely quickly raise our emotional sense of being. We can do exercise, we can move our body, we can dance, we can walk out in nature. There's so many things we can do, but the idea is to raise that emotional frequency so that we combine it with the mind thought of, I want this, I want to go in this direction. Combine those two together, boom, that's when manifestation occurs. And then there's another piece to the puzzle, which really came in strongly this morning. As I was preparing to come here, it hit me like really strongly of self-love in the process of setting our intentions. If we set our intentions from a place of self-admonishment, self-hatred, judging ourselves, all that stuff, a feeling of unworthiness, like shame, our intentions are not going to be able to manifest because we're stuck in the past in a sense. So everything that we're moving out of is still stuck in the present if we're in that shame or self-doubt or not loving ourselves. And how can we move into the future if we're stuck in that past, right? So, and I venture to say that maybe all of us here have had in our past some kind of conditioning from the world that told us that we're not good enough, that we're bad, that we're sinful, that we're shameful, all that stuff. And it's not about pointing the finger of blame at anyone who said those things to us or anyone who treated us that way. It's just to say, I acknowledge that that happened. I was told I was unlovable. I was told I was bad. And I'm not. It's like the world can throw anything at me now, and I will remember to love myself. So in that place of setting our intentions, holding like unconditional self-love in your heart for yourself, no matter what. No matter how high that mountain is to climb, and even if there's some doubt in your mind that you'll be able to get there, like, that's okay. Some doubt is normal and natural. But it's like, I love myself no matter freaking what. Which is not what the world teaches us to do. The world teaches us to go out and buy something at the store when we're not feeling well, or to go out and reach for that addictive behavior, or go get drunk, or go, whatever our thing is. And it's like, no, just no. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna just love myself. I don't have to reach for those behaviors. I can just love myself in the now. So I invite you, if you'd like to with me, to close your eyes, go within for a moment, place a hand or both hands on your heart. Just feel the warmth of your hand. And whisper to yourself, in this now moment, I love you. Speaking to yourself, I love you. No matter what. No matter what you do. No matter what you say. No matter what you think. And even if you forget this intention that you're setting right now, that's okay. Because I love you forever and ever. Amen.
If you would like to support this content and others like it, please give at unityoftoledo.com, where love is an everyday experience.